Since I first stepped foot in the gym, I've probably added about 80 pounds to my physique. While we all know about those insignificant details like heart rate and blood pressure and accelerated aging, today we're here to talk about the issues they don't want you to know about. You know, the important stuff like tying your shoelaces. We'll be discussing 5 things they don't tell you about getting big, starting now. Firstly, it will truly be all eyes on you. Getting really annoyed and self-conscious when people look at you, despite the fact that you built your physique for external affirmation. If you're looking for the biggest guy in the gym, you probably won't find him in a stringer vest and short shorts. When we first start out, we're all looking for that external affirmation, you know, rocking the stringer vest, trying to look as jacked as possible, because when you're surrounded by 250-pound meatheads, affirmation, it's hard to come by. Plus, you probably started due to some form of personal insecurity, because I sure as hell did. But things sharply change once you actually get big. I'm gonna leave the definition of big to your interpretation, but in my mind, when you're heavily muscled, over the 200-pound mark, that pretty much classifies it for the general public. The first few compliments are amazing, don't get me wrong. They completely validate all the struggle you went through for a solid 10 seconds. But after a while, that shit gets old. Mostly because if you're reaching that advanced phase of fitness, chances are you don't really take the opinion of non-lifters or casual lifters all that seriously. So although the amount of effort required to impress the general public is now slim to none, so is your desire for that affirmation. After a while, whether it's because you've heard it all before or because that compliment simply doesn't hold the same amount of value as if it was from a true bodybuilder who knew this lifestyle, you know, you're going to get a bit jaded by all the attention. And you got interest outside of bodybuilding? Well, great, but nobody cares. We want to know the drugs you're taking, and we want to know how many times a week you work out, because that apparently is the secret. That's what everyone wants to know anyway. And that brings us on to point number 2. The personality vacuum. If you want to talk about the meaning of life, unless it's about the meat slabs on your shoulders, nobody wants to hear it. Your physique will become the center of your personality to the outside world. And as I said in point number 1, you're simply not going to want to talk about the things they want to talk about. You know, it's really difficult to get into the depths of things with somebody who finds the hack squat baffling, let alone pharmacology and exercise mechanics. Even I barely understand exercise mechanics. All the people that I happily give my time to outside of work are bodybuilders, and bodybuilding makes up about a quarter of our discussion. I want to talk philosophy with somebody who clearly embodies that mindset. I don't want to talk about how much I lift with somebody who's failed every single diet they've started. This isn't an attack on casual gym goers, but the truth of the matter is, real bodybuilding as a sport is a completely different beast. It's not really relatable, and truthfully, yeah, it can become a job sometimes. So when you want to talk shop with us outside of our workplace, the gym, we're not always going to be interested. By the way, I'm using the collective we, as if like me and like Hunter Labrada are in the same category. Fucking hell, mate. Please step on stage first, Sam. Speaking of Hunter Labrada and big fuckers, point number 3, it takes longer than you think. I don't care how long you think it takes longer. And yet for the first few years of bodybuilding, I thought I was hot shit. I thought I knew it all. But trust me when I say I'm not even halfway there yet. 2 years in, thought I knew it all. Year 3, realised I didn't. 5 years in, I was like, right, now I know it all. Year 6, well, my mind was blown once again. There is always another gear, and when you shift up in that gear, your point of comparison also rises. To get to a place where you're truly happy, or if you're looking to compete, to get to a place where you can win your pro card and then be a competitive pro, it's going to take a long ass time. I'm pretty much the same weight as I was at the end of my bulk last time. I was about 212 pounds, I'm about 213 as we speak, but I'm about 5% body fat better off. But that's no weight shift within a year. For context, my classic weight cap is about 200 pound lean. I've taken a 2-year off season between getting down to the 170s shredded in order to achieve that, and I'm probably still going to be a little ways off. If you want to get big and compete, you're looking at least a decade of investment. Can you do it in 5? Sure. But are you willing to be that irresponsible with your health? And are you that genetically elite to be in the 0.00001% alongside people like Nick Walker, who himself has still invested a long ass time in this? And when you get there with society shifting standards and the mentality that it requires to get to that point of development, are you sure you're going to be satisfied? So what about the practicalities of getting that big? Well, everything in life will become a workout. Enjoy your independence. Good luck as a large gentleman. Whether it's relying on your partner to shave your back and trim your body hair, or relying on a little tool in order to get your shoes on, or a device on your face to make you breathe at night, one of the side effects of becoming a real man is basically becoming a glorified toddler. For me, once I hit 220 pounds, the sleep apnea kicks in, and it's a coin flip as to whether I wake up feeling rested or like I've gone rounds with Tyson Fury. Getting up from the sofa must be accompanied by the cracking of joints and a loud obnoxious groan. Crucifix Jesus would have an easier time scratching his back. Basically, some stuff sucks. But on the bright side, you can always bring all the shopping in all at once. That becomes easier. Speaking of shopping, let's talk point number 5. This shit is expensive. From your weekly shop to your wardrobe, the chances are if you're gaining muscle, you're probably losing money. There's always a way to spend more on bodybuilding. And goddammit if we won't spend hundreds of pounds to gain a 1% bigger bicep. Just the one, couldn't afford the other. I spoke in my budget bulking video about how quickly you can grow out of clothes, ways that you can save money, because this lifestyle is expensive, and if you're like me, you'll get through 3 clothes sizes within 6 months when you enter into a gaining phase. Your food shop won't always have to be that bad. I mean, I spend about £100 a week for me and my partner. I think that's pretty much standard in the world, let's face it. But if I had my way, the delivery order would be about twice as much. Drugs are not cheap. If you want to do this shit safely, you're going to have to be prepared to drop half your paycheck on HGH and paying favors for Primo. Back in the day when I was running bro cycles and just starting out, so I didn't really need anything too complicated, my cycles were dirt cheap. We're talking like £20 a month. Nowadays, they run about as high as Fuad Abiyad's McDonald's order. Whether it's Primo, HGH, or getting the blood tests, either way, being an enhanced athlete is a surefire way to double your spend on bodybuilding. If you want to get big in today's society, and I'm talking muscle over just sheer mass, then you're going to have to be enhanced, and to do this shit properly, it is not cheap. You don't have to increase your spend, but let's face it, and trust me, you will. Don't worry though, you'll only regret it like 38% of the time. You are now prepared. You've learned how to deflect compliments like a true British person, and you're ready to enter the cycle of self-hatred that consumerist impulses with legitimate reasoning can bring. Do your bloods, check your blood pressure, and remember it's only cheating on your diet if you track it. I'll see you in the next one.